Business Coach reacts to the State of Women-Owned Business report. The American Express report for 2020 is not out yet, and I really love that one. But the National Women's Business Council annual report for 2020 is out, so the information that we're going to be discussing today is going to come from that report. I will tell you, 2020 was a hard year in business, and it shows in the reports. So first, let's dig in to what they are telling us happened in 2020, and then we're going to react to that and also give you some tips on what you should be doing moving forward. Because the information is only a snapshot in time. It is not a fortune cookie that is going to, well, fortune cookies don't really determine your fate either, but it's not going to determine your fate in business. So let's look at what the report has to say. The good, the bad, the COVID ugly. First of all, the stats. Women-owned businesses represent 42% of small businesses. That's down, you guys. That number was up to 51% of all U.S. businesses. So about 13 million women-owned businesses in the U.S. We have 9.4 million employees, 1.9 trillion in revenue. Nearly 90% of all women-owned businesses have no employees, but our revenues topped $229 billion. So some good and some bad in there. Our industries tend to be what they call low-grade industries, like childcare, private households, beauty salon, home health services. And they only represent about 16.4% of businesses providing professional, scientific, and technical services. Now let's talk about funding and government contracts, because I think these are the two highlights in the whole report. So 57% of microloans are going to women right now. That's pretty exciting because microloans were not really going to women a few years ago, so that's good. The other thing is that they have a goal every year for 5% of all government contracts to go to women-owned businesses. We were actually at 5.1% last year, and that's the first time they've ever hit their 5% goal, so that's exciting. Not exciting. Only 2.2% of venture capital dollars went to women-owned businesses. And these stats are always behind the game, okay? They're always a little behind. That's from 2018. They don't have the newer stats up there. So here's what I'm really concerned about is that the percentage of women-owned businesses fell by 25% from February to April. That is a hard, fast fall. Here's another startling stat that is not too friendly for the ladies. 1.1 million laborers dropped out of the labor force during 2020, and 80% of them were women. What does that tell us? That tells us that we were having to homeschool and balance homeschool and business, or homeschool and work. And a lot of us took on that traditional role of assuming the majority of the responsibility. We didn't divide equally, and as a result, a lot of women dropped out of the labor force, which has consequences. Anytime you're in a room full of one type of person making decisions for a lot of types of people, it's going to be bad. This is why we should never have decision-making conversations without people of color, without women, without people of different age groups and different socioeconomic standards. We will not make the right decisions if we are underrepresented. So I find that very concerning. So what do we actually do with this information? I think there's a few different ways that we can take it. Number one is that anytime there's challenge, there is also great opportunity. So women who are owning businesses, here's the good news. If you went out of business during 2020, you didn't have a lot of employees, you probably didn't have a bunch of funding that you got from somebody else anyway, so you can rebuild, okay? When you rebuild this time, I suggest that you rebuild and you come back bigger, stronger, and with an industry that is going to allow you more upward swing. Too many of the women-owned business owners are coming in to create a job for themselves that gives them flexibility and enough income to replace what they would have made at a job. Because now they can be at home, they can have flexibility to be able to do the things they need to do with their kids. And here's the other thing, the 80% of women that left the labor force, they can come and start businesses. And I will show you how, my sister friends, because we need you. We need you. The numbers are showing we need you. So there will be a new rush of women coming in to start businesses, but here's where I think we really have got to make some changes. We need to go after the funding. We need to go after the higher capital, higher reach, more lucrative markets and industries. And we have got to stop building businesses that are really just jobs for us, where every dollar that we make is tied on our labor. Because guess what? Someday you'll be old and you won't want to be doing the thing that you're doing today. Someday you'll have to care for aging parents. Someday you will be homeschooling. I mean, just today, one of my kids was their class went virtual because out of the 22 kids, 12 are homesick. So it happens, and we have to be able to be in flux and still be able to be successful and make money. So there were a lot of hard things that happened during 2020. There are a lot of opportunities because of it. And if you will come in with a solid business plan and a strategy to build a company, I think that this is a great opportunity. There is so much money that has been sent into small business over the last year. More lending happened in the last 18 months than I can't remember the stat. Someone told it to me, I can't remember, so I'm going to make one up. Here's Amy's made up stat. More lending went into small business in the last 18 months than in the last 18 years. That's probably made up, but it was a big difference. It was a big difference. So there is money out there circulating through our economy. In fact, our government is pumping money in, which in the long run will have consequences. But in the short term right now, there's still resources available for you. Just today, I had a conversation with a lending company that is dying to lend money to small business owners trying to start up their business. They're like, do you have people you want to refer to us? Because, we can get them approved for up to $25,000 and here's our interest rates. And I was like, yeah, I got people. So if you need some, resources and you're US based, hit me up. I got people. We have got to make sure that we are positioning ourselves well to have a business that is not just dependent on our labor. If you got hit by a bus tomorrow, or you got COVID tomorrow, or you had to homeschool tomorrow, or you had to take care of your grandparents or your mom or your dad tomorrow, would your business still be able to be profitable and successful? And if the answer is no, then you got some work to do. All right, my business friends, thank you so much for being here and watching this reaction video. If you would like to hear a business coach react to other current events, make sure that you go check out some other videos in the playlist. Thanks so much, everyone.